Coach Norvell as well as Coach JP both complimented how you did on Saturday in the scrimmage. We went live punting. Can you just talk about what you thought of your performance?
Hey guys, it was a great experience. It's been a goal of mine to kick on Doak Campbell Stadium for quite a while now, and to go out there and have a positive experience was really nice for me. I guess a lot of credit has to go to the whole punt unit for helping me execute my job to the best of my ability. And yeah, like I said, it was really nice to be able to execute those punts and make the coaches happy, and I just want to keep building on that going forward.
Next would be Irish up Open Warchat.
Hey Alex, we haven't talked to you since the spring. What were you able to do during the pandemic? Did you go home for how long? And were you able to work on your punting during that break when you were away from the team?
Yeah, it happened pretty quickly. It was during spring break, and obviously the semester got cancelled, and so did spring ball, which was quite disappointing. But just tried making a positive out of that situation and controlling what I could control, and that was going home and getting back to Pro Kick Australia, where I've learnt how to punt under Nathan Chapman and John Smith, and just stuck away at punting, trying to get better every day. And I ended up being back in Australia for about 4 to 5 months, all up. And during that time, I was training a lot, doing all my online university studies, and that was about it for me.
Next question will be Kurt Weiler from the Tallahassee Democrat.
Yeah, kind of along those lines, I know up until shortly before kind of y'all were back, there was concerns over whether international students, I guess, would be able to kind of be here next year. I guess, was that a concern ever for you, or was it something where it was kind of made clear that you were going to be able to come back? I guess we need you to get back.
Yeah, it was getting a little bit annoying because I had so many people messaging me about that, just sending me links saying I'm not going to be allowed back and things like that. But I sort of had good faith that I was able to be exempted to come back, as it was for my studies, and obviously to play football it's a pretty serious contract, and that was probably the most positive thing, being able to come back in the end. But I had good faith that I'd be able to return to the States, so I'm grateful that I'm able to be here now, and I think the rest is sort of history.
Next would be Aswan Hajavandi from Warchat.
Hey Alex, hope you're doing well this morning. The coach has mentioned all the things that you have to adjust to playing American football now. Of all the things, how weird is it, you played Australian rules football back home, how weird is it that pretty much your job is to stand there and then go out and work in like 10-second intervals? And how does that come along?
Yeah, the biggest difference, well, you sort of said it yourself, is probably having to be ready to come on and just execute your job, and in a space of about 10 seconds. So you really need a good mindset. You really need to have a good mind to execute your job. You practice it so many times, and when you're out on the field, whether it's at practice or during a scrimmage, and I'm sure in a game situation, you just really need to stay positive, be mentally sharp and ready to perform your role and not overthink it too much. So that's probably the biggest difference for me so far, just getting in that right frame of mind, trusting myself and knowing I just have to kick a ball at the end of the day.
Next question will be Pat Burnham from the Osceola.
Hey, Alex, I just kind of want to piggyback on what Aswan was asking. Obviously you had limited reps in the spring, first time playing American football, and then you went out Saturday for the scrimmage. Was there a difference in the intensity level, and how has your acclimation come into people rushing at you to try to block the punt?
Obviously the rush is something that I need to get used to. I'm feeling more and more comfortable every time being in those high pressure situations. On Saturday, the intensity, I suppose, being out on Doak Campbell Stadium, it made it a lot more worthwhile. It sort of went up a notch, I thought, in the intensity and standard. But for me, like I said earlier, it's just about trying to zone in on my process and stay cool and calm and just taking some deep breaths before I go out and do my thing. And I try not to get too caught up in the moment or rev myself up too much, because that's when I might do a different process and go away from how I sort of prepare normally. So I just try and stay relaxed, whether it's in the stadium, out on the field, or in the indoor facility, to be honest, and just try and do my thing.
Next will be Perry from Tomahawk Nation.
Hey Alex, something I was curious about in the scrimmage, did you have to tackle anybody? Like, have you gotten the chance to just get in the way of just giant human being coming with the ball?
No, I haven't tackled anybody yet, and I suppose that's a bit more motivation for me to make sure I'm getting good hang time on those punts and getting them fair caught. So when the time comes to tackle, hopefully I'll be well prepared for that. But yeah, I'm hoping I won't be making too many tackles, and I'm sure the coaches would back me up on that one.
We'll go back to Ira from Warchant.
One of the coaches mentioned that you seemed to really enjoy the experience Saturday, being in the stadium. Was it more just about kind of getting to that point of the journey of kicking in a football stadium, or was it because of how you performed that day?
I think it's a mixture of things. The coaches and myself, we all know it's fairly new to me, this sport. I think it's altogether probably my 12th practice I've ever had of American football, and like I said from day one when I got here, my goal is to get the respect and trust off my teammates and coaches, and that's not changing. And I think I'm starting to get more confident, as I said earlier, kicking in front of the coaches and my teammates, and that's something really important to me, to be able to showcase my abilities to them and earn that trust and respect from them. So I think the fact that I was able to execute my role to a decent level on Saturday with the help of my whole punt unit was really special for me, and it really helped gain some confidence for me. And I think that's why the coaches were probably pleased for me, because yeah, I'm just slowly building a way to hopefully reach my goals that I have and they have for me.
We'll go back to Kurt from the Democrat.
I know we talked to you in the spring, you talked about how kind of going through the adapting process with sleep and all those things, something you're looking forward to doing again. I guess you weren't planning on going home. Having to go through that again, I guess, was it easier this time? And I know you complained about the coffee too. You found out your coffee setup here?
The process of coming back, it was a lot different because there were obviously strict pandemic protocols that we had to follow due to the COVID situation. So I had to isolate before I got tested. So in that sense, I was able to get over my jet lag. Like if it was 12 o'clock in the afternoon, I could sleep for 8 hours, then sleep again, like through the whole night. So the jet lag didn't necessarily get made easier coming back the second time. It was still pretty tough, but yeah, I was lucky that I did have some time off. I didn't really have any commitments those first few days, so I was able to catch up on sleep. Yeah, the coffee situation, like because of the protocols here with the COVID situation, we're not actually allowed up into the coach's floor anymore. So my mum ordered me an espresso machine for my birthday a few weeks ago, so shout out to her for that. So I've just been having like my Nespresso shots every day, like George Clooney style, and yeah, really enjoying those. So it's been good.
We'll go back to Perry from Tomahawk Nation.
I just gotta know who on the team has come up to you with the worst impression of your accent.
Oh, that's a tough question. Probably Brian Fitzgerald, the place kicker.